Try to remember last night's dream right now. You probably can't. Maybe a fragment, a face, a feeling, a room, already dissolving as you reach for it. That's not your bad memory. It's not your fault. Your brain spent the whole night in a chemical state where forming memories is almost impossible. And it did that on purpose. Every morning, a whole world you lived in vanishes before you're even fully awake. And tonight, it'll happen again. This has a name. Dream amnesia, and it is almost perfectly universal. You dream every night whether you remember it or not, around 2 hours of it, broken into chunks across your sleep. Vivid, detailed, emotional worlds with their own logic and their own people. Over a lifetime, that adds up to roughly 6 years spent dreaming. 6 years. And researchers estimate you forget more than 90% of all of it. Within 5 minutes of waking, half of a dream is already gone. Within 10, almost all of it. So, where does it go? And why would a brain build entire worlds every single night, just to erase them by breakfast? For most of the last century, the answer seemed obvious, and it came from one man. In 1900, Sigmund Freud published The Interpretation of Dreams, and he had a theory about why dreams slip away. He thought you forget them because you want to. Dreams, he argued, are where your hidden desires leak out in disguise. And the same part of your mind that buries those desires while you're awake reaches up as you surface and snatches the dream away before you can read it. Forgetting wasn't an accident. It was censorship. Repression doing its job. It's an elegant idea. It feels true. For decades, it was the answer. But there's a problem. You don't just forget the dark, revealing dreams. You forget the boring ones just as fast. The dream about reorganizing a drawer. The dream where you were vaguely at work. Dreams with nothing to hide vanish at exactly the same speed as the ones that supposedly threaten you. If forgetting were really about repression, the meaningless dreams should survive. They don't. The reason you forget your dreams has almost nothing to do with what they mean. It has to do with the state your brain is in while you're having them. Here's the part most people never hear. Memory isn't free. To take an experience and turn it into something you can replay later, your brain needs a specific chemical mix, and one ingredient matters more than almost any other. Norepinephrine. It's the signal that tells the brain, this is worth keeping. Write it down. The Harvard sleep researcher J. Allen Hobson spent his career mapping what the brain actually does during REM sleep, the stage where your most vivid dreams happen. And he found something strange. During REM, the tiny cluster of cells that produces norepinephrine, a region called the locus coeruleus, goes almost completely silent. So picture what that means. Every night, your brain generates the richest, most cinematic experiences of your life, in a chemical state where the one signal you need to save a memory has been switched off. You're not failing to record your dreams. You're dreaming inside a brain that has been physically unplugged from the machinery of saving. The file was never being written in the first place. And there's a deeper layer underneath that one. Your hippocampus, the small curved structure that builds new memories, doesn't go quiet when you sleep. It gets busy, but it's doing the opposite of what you'd expect. Robert Stickgold and other sleep scientists have shown that through the night, the hippocampus is in playback mode. It takes the memories you formed during the day and replays them outward, filing them into long-term storage in the cortex. It's pushing information out, not letting new information in. The door your daily experiences come through is, for those hours, essentially shut. Your dreams are knocking on a door that's been locked from the inside. But there's one more idea, and it's the strangest of all, because it suggests you don't forget your dreams despite their purpose. You forget them because forgetting is the purpose. In 1983, 2 scientists published a short, radical paper in the journal Nature. One of them was Francis Crick, the man who co-discovered the structure of DNA. Crick and the mathematician Graham Mitchison looked at REM sleep and asked a heretical question. What if dreams aren't meaningful at all? What if REM sleep exists to clean house? Their idea was called reverse learning. All day, your brain takes in far more than it needs. Junk patterns, accidental connections, useless overlaps. Left alone, that clutter would choke the network. So at night, they proposed, the brain runs in reverse. It lights up those tangled circuits and deliberately weakens them, scrubbing out the noise. And the dream, the bizarre, half-formed story you experience, is just what it looks like from the inside when your brain is taking out the trash. We dream in order to forget, they wrote. If they're right, then the dream you lost this morning was never a message you failed to keep. It was garbage your brain was deleting, and you simply caught a glimpse of it on the way to the bin. The forgetting isn't a flaw in the system, it's the entire point of the system. Not every scientist accepts this. It's still argued over. But no one has been able to fully rule it out. What everyone does agree on is how fragile a dream is. For the few seconds after you wake, a dream sits in a kind of holding cell, faint, unsaved, waiting. If you lie still, eyes closed, and turn your attention to it, you can sometimes catch it. Pull it across into real memory before it fades. That's why people who keep a notebook by the bed start remembering far more of their dreams. They're rescuing them in the one narrow window before they're gone. But the moment you sit up, reach for your phone. Let the day pour in. It's over. The fragile trace gets overwritten by waking life, instantly, and it doesn't come back. So this is what's actually happening to you. Every night of your life, you enter worlds that feel completely real. You live inside them, and you do it in a brain that was built to let almost none of it survive the morning. 6 years of experience, lived in full, witnessed by no one. Not even you. There is a version of you that exists only in there. It walks through places that were never built, talks to people who are gone, feels things you will never be able to put into words. And every single morning, before you've even opened your eyes all the way, that version of you quietly disappears. You went somewhere last night. You'll go again tonight. Slows down, and whoever you become in the dark, however vividly you live while you're there, you will never get to meet them. The one life that leaves no record behind is your own.